I always thought the moment before everything falls apart would feel different. Like there'd be storm clouds gathering, or at least a dramatic gust of wind. Instead, I was standing in a champagne-colored dress that cost more than my first car, surrounded by crystal chandeliers and the gentle murmur of Sacramento's elite, when my entire world imploded. My name is Jasmine, and exactly 43 minutes ago, I thought I was living a fairy tale. Baby, could you come here for a moment? Terrence's voice carried across the ballroom of the Grand Plaza Hotel. He looked perfect, as always. Tailored Tom Ford suit, that dimpled smile that made my knees weak 3 years ago when we first met. I weaved through the crowd of our closest friends and family, all gathered for what I thought was just another charity gala. Lisa, my best friend, caught my eye and winked. Looking back, I should have noticed how tightly she was gripping her champagne glass. "Everyone," Terrence announced, taking my hand. "I have something important to say." The room hushed. My mother, Cassandra, practically vibrated with excitement from her spot near the front. "Jasmine, from the moment I met you, I knew you were different." He dropped to one knee, and my heart stopped. "You're everything I've ever wanted. Beautiful, graceful, the perfect partner for the life I want to build." The ring he pulled out caught the light like a meteor. I heard gasps. Someone, probably my mother, actually squealed. "Will you marry me?" "Yes," I breathed, tears blurring my vision. "Of course, yes!" The room erupted in applause. Terrence slipped the ring onto my finger, and I threw my arms around his neck. For one perfect moment, everything was exactly as it should be. "I hate to interrupt such a touching moment." The voice cut through the celebration like ice. I turned to see a woman I'd never met, but whose face I knew from old photos Terrence had quietly removed from his Instagram last year. Valeria, his ex. She was stunning in a way that made other women hate themselves, all long legs and perfect bone structure. But her eyes, they weren't angry or jealous, they were sad. "He gave me this last night," she said softly, extending an envelope. "I thought you should read it before you say yes." "Val, don't," Terrence warned, his grip on my waist tightening. I took the envelope. The paper was expensive, the kind Terrence used for important client meetings. My hands shook as I unfolded it. "Jasmine, don't make a scene," my mother hissed, appearing at my elbow. "Think about how this looks." But I was already reading. The words burned themselves into my brain. "My dearest Valeria, I'll always love you. After tonight, I'll fix this. Just let me get through the proposal. Everything I've built, everything we've worked for, depends on this marriage. But you're the one I want to wake up to for the rest of my life. Forever yours, T." The letter was dated yesterday. The silence in the room was deafening. I looked up at Terrence, who had gone pale. "Is this real? Baby, I can explain. Is this real?" His silence was answer enough. I looked around the room, at my father avoiding my eyes, at my mother's face twisted with concern not for me but for our reputation, at Lisa who looked ready to commit murder. Then I laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. "Well," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "I guess I should thank you, Valeria. Better to know now than after the wedding, right?" I slipped the ring off my finger and placed it gently in Terrence's palm. "You can keep this. I'm sure you'll find someone else to help you build everything you've worked for." I turned to leave, but Valeria caught my arm. "There's more," she whispered. "So much more. And I think your family knows all about it." I met her eyes, saw the truth there, and felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just about a cheating fiancé. This was about lies, manipulation, and family secrets. And I was done being the perfect, predictable daughter who looked the other way. I turned back to face the crowd, Valeria's words ringing in my ears. The perfect daughter was about to become the perfect nightmare. Actually, I said, my voice carrying across the now silent room, I think everyone should hear what's in this letter. I held up the paper, watching Terrence's face drain of color. Jasmine, don't. My mother stepped forward, reaching for the letter. Let's discuss this privately. I stepped away from her. Why, Mom? Worried about what else might come out? Before anyone could stop me, I read the letter aloud. Each word felt like acid on my tongue. When I finished, the silence was broken by scattered whispers and the sound of my mother's pearls clicking as she nervously fidgeted with them. It's not what you think, Terrence started, reaching for me. Val and I... It's complicated. She's unstable. Unstable? Valeria's laugh was sharp. Show her your phone, Terrence. Show her the messages from last week when you promised to leave her for me. Or should I? Lisa appeared at my side, her hand steady on my arm. I knew something was off when you mentioned he kept disappearing during business trips, she said. Remember that weekend in Vegas when he claimed he was meeting investors? He was with me, Valeria said. In San Francisco, the pieces started falling into place. All those late nights at the office, the mysterious calls he'd step outside to take, the way he'd insisted I never touch his phone. You've been playing us both, I said, my voice steady despite the hurricane in my chest. For how long? Since before he met you, Valeria answered. He never broke up with me. He just told me we needed to keep things quiet while he secured his position with your family's connections. My father finally spoke up from the corner. That's enough. This is a private matter. Is it, Dad? I turned to him. Because Valeria mentioned my family knows all about this. Care to explain? The look that passed between my father and Terrence told me everything I needed to know. Your father and I have business dealings, Terrence admitted. Important ones. This marriage would have cemented. So I was just a business transaction? The words tasted bitter. A merger and acquisition? You're being dramatic, my mother cut in. In our circles, marriages have always been about more than just love. You know this. Actually, Cassandra, Lisa stepped forward, I think what we're seeing here is straight-up fraud, and I'm pretty sure there are laws against that. Terrence's composure finally cracked. You don't understand what you're doing, he hissed at me. The deals we have in place, the money involved. Oh, I think I'm starting to understand perfectly, I replied, pulling out my phone. I opened my banking app and showed him the screen. See this trust fund you've been so interested in? Watch this. With a few taps, I transferred the entire amount to a new account, one I'd set up months ago when I first suspected something was wrong. No! Terrence lunged for my phone, but Lisa blocked his path. Touch her, she warned, and I'll have security here so fast your head will spin. The room had devolved into chaos. Guests were filming on their phones. My mother was having what looked like a panic attack, and my father was making furious calls in the corner. There's more, Valeria said quietly. So much more. Emails, messages, proof of what he's been doing with your family's connections. I kept everything. I looked at her, really looked at her. Why are you helping me? Because he destroyed me, she replied. And he was about to destroy you too. The difference is, you have the power to destroy him back. I felt a smile spread across my face. Not the polite one I'd worn at countless society events, but something sharper, dangerous. Terrence! I called out across the room. He turned, still trying to damage control with a group of shocked guests. Remember when you said I was the perfect partner for the life you wanted to build? He nodded warily. Watch me burn it all down instead. I walked out of the ballroom, head high, Lisa and Valeria flanking me. Behind us, I could hear my mother's voice rising in hysteria and my father arguing into his phone. But ahead of me? That was starting to look a lot like freedom. and revenge. The morning after my engagement imploded, my mother showed up at my apartment unannounced. I'd barely slept, spending the night combing through old photos and texts, seeing all the red flags I'd ignored with new clarity. "We need to talk," she said, brushing past me into my living room. She looked immaculate as always, not a hair out of place despite the crisis. "You're being childish about this whole situation." I poured myself coffee, not offering her any. Childish? That's rich coming from the woman who knew her daughter was being played. "You don't understand how our world works," she snapped. "Your father and Terrence's partnership is worth millions. The merger they're planning." "The merger?" I set my cup down so hard, coffee sloshed onto the counter. "Tell me more about this merger, Mom, the one nobody bothered to mention to me." She sighed, pulling out her phone and showing me a news article. "Terrence's development company is planning to revolutionize the Sacramento skyline. Your father's investment firm is backing the project. The marriage would have sealed everything perfectly." "So, I was just collateral?" The laugh that escaped me was hollow. "How long have you known about Valeria?" "That's not important." "How? Long?" She smoothed her skirt, avoiding my eyes. "Since the beginning, Terrence was honest with us about her situation. He assured us she wouldn't be a problem." The betrayal hit like a physical blow. "My own mother," I whispered. "You watched me fall in love with him, knowing it was all fake." "It wasn't fake. He does care for you, in his way. And think about your father's reputation." "I'm calling Dad." I cut her off, dialing his number on speaker. He answered on the first ring. "Jasmine, I was just about to call." "Tell me about the merger, Dad." Silence. Then, "Who told you?" "Does it matter? Were you ever going to tell me I was just a business arrangement?" "Princess, it's complicated. The development project, it's not just buildings. It's about legacy. Your legacy too. We're talking about reshaping the entire city. Using my trust fund as leverage," I finished. "That's why you both push so hard for me to date Terrence, to keep me close, keep me controlled." "Now wait just a minute." "I talked to the bank this morning," I interrupted. "Did you know that as of my 29th birthday last month, you no longer have any say over my trust? Funny timing with this sudden engagement, isn't it?" More silence. Then my mother's sharp intake of breath told me they hadn't known. "Jasmine," my father's voice turned hard. "Don't do anything rash. This is bigger than your hurt feelings." "My hurt feelings?" I laughed. "Dad, I'm way past hurt. I'm furious. And I'm done being your puppet." My phone buzzed with a text. It was from Vincent, my old college friend who now worked in digital forensics. "You were right. I've recovered deleted messages. He's hiding more. Want to see?" "I have to go," I told my parents. "I have a meeting with my lawyer this afternoon." "Oh, and Mom? Don't bother trying to access my trust fund. I've already moved everything." "You'll regret this," my mother hissed. "You're throwing away everything we built for you." "No," I replied, opening the door. "I'm throwing away everything you built for yourselves, using me as the foundation. There's a difference." After they left, I called Vincent. "Tell me everything." "It's bad," he said. "Like, really bad. He's been playing everyone, not just you and Valeria. There are emails about using your family's connections, messages to someone named Emerson about covering his tracks." "Send it all to me," I said. "Every last detail." "Jasmine," he hesitated. "Some of this stuff, it could ruin lives. Not just Terrence's. Your family's too." I thought about my mother's cold calculations, my father's casual dismissal of my feelings, and 3 years of living a lie orchestrated by the people who should have protected me. "Good," I replied, "because that's exactly what I want to do." My phone buzzed again. Lisa this time. "Valeria's ready to talk. She's got proof of everything. When do we start?" I smiled, feeling that dangerous edge return to my voice. Now, we start now. Vincent's apartment looked like a scene from a hacker movie, multiple screens displaying emails, messages, and documents. Lisa sat cross-legged on his couch while Valeria paced nervously behind us. "Look at this email thread." Vincent pointed to one screen. "Terence to your father, dated 6 months ago. Once the engagement is announced, we'll have full access to her trust. The perfect solution to our capital problem." "Here's another one." Lisa leaned forward. "Jasmine is predictably manageable. Her family name opens doors we need. The golden daughter of the golden family." My stomach turned. "Show me everything." "It gets worse." Valeria stopped pacing. "Pull up the emails between him and Emerson." Vincent typed quickly, bringing up another thread. "Emerson's his executive assistant," he explained. "She's been covering for him for months." The emails loaded. My hands clenched into fists as I read. Need you to confirm my dinner with investors if Jasmine calls. You know the drill." T. "Already done. Was actually with Val in San Francisco that night, right? Getting good at keeping your stories straight." "You're a lifesaver. Bonus in your account tomorrow." IT. "He paid her to lie," I said flatly. "Not just lie." Valeria pulled out her phone. "Look at these texts from Emerson to me. She's been feeling guilty lately." The texts showed screenshots of bank transfers, calendar entries, hotel bookings, a paper trail of Terence's double life. "Why would she save all this?" Lisa asked. "Insurance," Vincent answered. "Smart girl. Bet she knew this would blow up eventually." My phone rang. Terence's number. I put it on speaker. "Baby, please." His voice was desperate. "We need to talk. Your father's threatening to pull out of the deal. Everything I've worked for." "You mean everything you've manipulated for?" I cut in. "How's Valeria, by the way? Have you called her yet today?" Silence. Then, "Who have you been talking to?" "Emerson says hi." I heard him inhale sharply. "Whatever she told you." "Save it," I interrupted. "I've seen the emails, the transfers, everything. Those emails are private property. If you're accessing my personal—" "Worried about what else we'll find?" Valeria spoke up. "Like the offshore account you opened in my name?" More silence. When he spoke again, his voice was different, harder. "You have no idea what you're dealing with. Your father is just as guilty as you are," I finished. "Don't worry. I'm dealing with him too. Jasmine, think about what you're doing. One phone call from me and your family's reputation—" "Go ahead," I challenged. "Make the call. But first, check your email. I just sent you something." We all watched Vincent's screen as Terence opened the email. A comprehensive file of everything we'd found, including Emerson's testimony. "You wouldn't," he breathed. "Try me. This would destroy everything. Your family's standing, their connections." "You mean the connections you used to build your little empire? Funny how quickly those can crumble." Lisa grinned beside me. Valeria had stopped pacing, a satisfied smile on her face. "What do you want?" Terence asked finally. "I want you to sweat," I replied. "I want you to wonder when and where I'll use this information. I want you to feel as powerless as you made me feel." "You're making a mistake." "No. Your mistake was thinking I was predictably manageable." "Goodbye, Terence." I hung up as Vincent's computer pinged with a new email alert. "It's from Emerson," he said. "She wants to meet. Says she's ready to go on record with everything she knows." "She's scared," Valeria noted. "She should be. Terence can be vindictive when cornered." "Good thing she's not alone then." Lisa stood up, stretching. "So, what's the plan?" I looked at the screen surrounding us, evidence of years of manipulation, lies, and betrayal. "We're going to give Terence exactly what he wants, a big public event with all his investors, business partners, and social connections present. And then? Vincent asked. Then we're going to burn his world down, live and in person. The others exchanged glances. You know this will hurt your family too, Lisa said softly. I thought of my mother's cold calculations, my father's dismissal of my feelings. They made their choice, I replied. Now they can live with it. A reconciliation dinner? Terrence's voice dripped skepticism over the phone. You really expect me to believe you want to apologize? Believe what you want. I kept my voice honey sweet. But your investors are nervous after our little scene. This is your chance to show everyone that we're working things out. Unless you'd rather explain to them why your perfect merger is falling apart? The silence told me I had him. Fine. Where? The Metropolitan, private dining room. This Saturday. I'll be there. And Jasmine? Thank you for being reasonable about this. I ended the call and turned to Lisa, who was setting up hidden cameras in the Metropolitan's private dining room. He bought it. Of course he did, she smirked, adjusting a tiny lens behind a light fixture. Men like him always think they're the smartest person in the room. Vincent sat at the table with his laptop, testing the video feeds. Cameras are working perfectly. We'll be able to project everything onto these walls. He gestured to the cream-colored surfaces surrounding us. Emerson confirmed she'll be here. Valeria walked in, phone in hand. She's terrified, but ready. Said she has even more documents we haven't seen yet. Perfect. I checked my own phone. The guest list is set. Every major investor, business partner, and social connection Terrence has, plus a few carefully selected members of the press. Your parents? Lisa asked quietly. Front and center, they think it's their chance to salvage everything. I laughed bitterly. Mom's already called twice about what I should wear. Speaking of your parents, Valeria nodded toward the door. Incoming. My father stood there, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Jasmine, we need to talk. I'm busy, Dad. You don't know what you're getting into. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. The people involved in this deal, they don't play nice. Think about your future. My future? I turned to face him fully. Like you thought about it when you used me as collateral, or when you watched Terrence manipulate me for 3 years. I was protecting you. This merger, it would have set you up for life. No, I corrected him. It would have trapped me for life. There's a difference. Princess, don't. I cut him off. You lost the right to call me that when you sold me out. His face hardened. You want to play hardball? Fine. But remember, I taught you everything you know about business. Not everything, I smiled. You taught me to look for weaknesses in others. You never taught me to watch for them in myself. That was your mistake. He left without another word. Lisa squeezed my hand. You okay? Better than okay. I pulled out my phone, showing them an email. While Dad was trying to intimidate me, Emerson just sent over proof that he and Terrence have been cooking their books for months. Vincent? Vincent grabbed his laptop. On it. I'll add it to the presentation. You realize there's no going back after this, Valeria warned. Once we do this, you're burning every bridge you have. Not every bridge, Lisa interjected. She'll still have us. My phone buzzed again, a text from my mother. Wear the blue Chanel. It looks appropriately contrite. I texted back. Don't worry, Mum. I know exactly what to wear when burning down a house of cards. Everything's ready, Vincent announced. Cameras are set, presentations are loaded, and I've got a backup of every file in 3 different locations. Even if they try to shut us down, this is happening. Good. I checked my watch. Because we've got 24 hours until showtime. Jasmine? Valeria caught my arm. Thank you for believing me, for helping expose him. Thank you for being brave enough to show me the truth. I hugged her quickly. Now let's make sure everyone else sees it too. We spent the next hour going over the plan one final time. Each damning email, every incriminating bank statement, all the lies carefully curated to destroy the perfect image Terence and my family had built. As we left the Metropolitan, my phone lit up with a final text from Terence. "Looking forward to tomorrow, baby. I knew you'd come around." I showed it to Lisa, who snorted. "Men really never do learn, do they?" "No," I agreed, thinking of the destruction waiting in Vincent's laptop. "But they're about to." I wore red, not blue, a crimson dress that screamed power instead of apology. When I walked into the Metropolitan's private dining room, conversations stuttered to a halt. "Darling," my mother hissed, grabbing my arm, "that's not what we discussed." "Let go, Mum." I smiled for the crowd of Sacramento's elite gathered around elegant table settings. "You'll want to save your strength for what's coming." Terence approached, looking perfectly groomed in his usual designer suit. "Baby, you look stunning." He leaned in to kiss my cheek. I stepped back. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," I said loudly enough for nearby guests to hear. "We have some things to discuss first." Of course, of course." He gestured to the table. "Shall we begin?" Everyone took their seats. Investors, business partners, social climbers, all arranged exactly as planned. Vincent sat near the back with his laptop. Lisa positioned herself by the door. Valeria wasn't here yet, also part of the plan. "Before we start," Terence stood, raising his glass, "I want to thank everyone for coming. Jasmine and I have had our misunderstandings, but love conquers all, doesn't it?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room. My father nodded approvingly. "Actually," I stood as well, "I'd like to say something first." "Jasmine," my mother warned, "I've learned a lot these past few weeks," I continued, "about love, about trust, about family." I looked directly at Terence. "About what people will do for power." His smile faltered slightly. "Vincent," I called out, "would you mind showing everyone what I mean?" The lights dimmed, the cream walls suddenly illuminated with emails, bank statements, calendar entries, all projected in crystal clear detail. "What is this?" Terence demanded, but I could see the panic in his eyes. "This," I gestured to the walls, "is the truth. Let's start with how you've been manipulating two women simultaneously while embezzling from your own company." Gasps echoed through the room. My father stood up. "That's enough." "Oh no, Dad. We're just getting started. Look at this email chain between you and Terence, the one where you discuss using my trust fund as collateral without my knowledge. That's fraud, isn't it?" The door opened. Emerson walked in, followed by Valeria. "Perfect timing," I smiled. "Emerson, would you like to tell everyone what you told me? About the fake alibis, the covered-up meetings, the creative accounting?" "This is slander," Terence snarled, but Emerson stepped forward. "It's all true," she announced clearly. "I have copies of everything. The offshore accounts, the manipulated books, the bribes." The room erupted in chaos. Investors started making calls. My mother actually fainted, though I noticed she managed to land perfectly in her chair. "You're destroying everything," my father shouted over the noise. "No," I corrected him. "I'm exposing everything. Vincent, show them the proof of the real estate fraud." New documents flashed on the walls. I heard someone curse loudly, probably one of the investors watching their money evaporate in real time. Terence lunged for Vincent's laptop, but Lisa stepped in his way. "Touch that computer," she said sweetly, "and I press send on every document to every news outlet in California." "Why?" Terence turned to me, his perfect facade cracking. "We could have had everything." "You mean you could have had everything," I replied. "My money, my family's connections, your side relationship with Valeria, all while building your empire on lies." "Speaking of lies," Valeria stepped forward. Should we tell them about the baby you made me get rid of? The one that would have ruined your perfect plan? More gasps. Someone started filming on their phone. You're making a mistake. My father tried one last time. This isn't how our world works. Your world. I cut him off. Not mine. Not anymore. I turned to address the shocked crowd. Check your emails. You'll find detailed documentation of everything you've just seen. I suggest you contact your lawyers quickly. The room dissolved into frantic phone calls and accusations. Terence stood frozen, watching his carefully constructed world crumble. My mother had mysteriously recovered from her faint and was trying desperately to damage control with some society matrons. Ready to go? Lisa appeared at my side. I looked around the chaos one last time. Actually, I think I'll stay. Someone should be here to watch it all burn. And burn it did. The fallout was nuclear. Within 24 hours, every major news outlet in Sacramento had picked up the story. Real estate empire built on lies, screamed one headline. Society scandal rocks business world, declared another. I sat in my apartment, watching it unfold on multiple news channels while Lisa brought in coffee. Your father's company stock has dropped 60%, she reported, checking her phone. 3 board members have resigned. The SEC is launching an investigation. My phone buzzed. Valeria. Terence just got served with papers. His assets are frozen. He tried to access the offshore accounts, but Vincent's evidence blocked him. Good, I texted back. A knock at the door made us both jump. Lisa checked the peephole and stepped back. It's Terence. Let him in. He looked terrible. Designer suit wrinkled, eyes wild. You've destroyed me, he said without preamble. No, I corrected him, staying seated. You destroyed yourself. I just exposed it. Everything I built was built on lies, I finished. How's that merger looking now? He ran his hands through his disheveled hair. Your father's threatening to sue me. His lawyers are probably busy dealing with their own legal problems, Lisa interjected. Fraud tends to have a domino effect. I loved you, he tried. In my way. Your way, I laughed. You mean the way that involved sleeping with Valeria while planning to use my trust fund? That kind of love? I had plans, he shouted. Big plans. We could have been unstoppable together. Instead, you're stopped. Completely. I showed him my phone, another news alert about his company's collapse. How does it feel to be powerless? He lunged forward suddenly, but Lisa was faster. She stepped between us, pepper spray appearing in her hand. Try it, she dared him. Give me a reason. This isn't over, he snarled, backing away. Actually, it is. I stood up. Check your email. The DA's office is very interested in those creative accounting practices you and my father used. He left, slamming the door so hard the windows rattled. You okay? Lisa asked. Before I could answer, my phone rang. Emerson. They're raiding the offices, she reported. FBI just showed up. Your father's being questioned right now. Are you safe? Yes, the immunity deal your lawyer arranged for me came through. I'm officially a witness, not a suspect. I ended the call as another news alert popped up. Prominent businessman taken in for questioning, fraud allegations mount. My mother's call came next. I put it on speaker. What have you done? She wailed. They're saying we might lose everything. The house, the country club membership. Tragic, I cut in. Almost as tragic as selling your daughter out for social status. I am your mother, and I'm your daughter, the one you were willing to sacrifice for a business deal. How's that working out? She hung up. Moments later, a text arrived. You'll regret this. Family loyalty. Means nothing without actual love, I texted back, then blocked her number. Lisa hugged me tight. You're the bravest person I know. Another knock. This time it was Valeria, looking shaken. He called me, she said. Terence. He's losing it. Said he loved me, then threatened to ruin me if I didn't help him fix this. He can't hurt you anymore, I assured her. None of them can. My phone kept buzzing. Journalists wanting comments, lawyers seeking statements, society friends choosing sides. I turned it off. What now? Lisa asked. Now? I walked to my window, looking out at the city where I'd once felt so trapped by expectations and lies. Now I start over, on my terms. And us? Valeria asked quietly. We heal, I said. We build something real instead of something perfect. My apartment buzzer rang again. This time it was a courier with a thick envelope. Inside was a legal summons. My mother was suing me for defamation and malicious interference with family interests. I laughed, showing it to Lisa and Valeria. Looks like Mom's not quite done trying to control me. What are you going to do? Valeria asked. I placed the summons on my coffee table, next to the newspapers chronicling the destruction of Terrence's empire. I'm going to show her exactly who she raised, I said. Someone who doesn't back down. Not anymore. The courtroom fell silent as my mother's lawyer finished his closing argument. Throughout the defamation trial, I'd watched my parents age before my eyes. My father already accepting a plea deal in his fraud case, my mother desperately clinging to what remained of her social standing. Ms. McCormick, the judge turned to me, would you like to make a final statement? I stood, smoothing down my simple navy dress. No designer labels, no family jewelry. Just me. When I was little, my mother taught me that image was everything, I began. She taught me to smile prettily, to speak softly, to never make waves. My father taught me that business was about finding leverage, about power plays and strategic alliances. I looked directly at my mother. They taught me well, maybe too well. Objection, her lawyer started, but the judge waved him down. What they didn't teach me was authenticity, or integrity, or that love shouldn't come with conditions. I pulled out Terrence's original letter to Valeria. This piece of paper didn't just expose a cheating fiancé. It exposed a system of lies that my family had built around me. The courtroom was utterly still. My mother isn't suing me because I lied. She's suing me because I told the truth. Every document I revealed was real. Every statement I made was factual. The only defamation here is what they did to themselves. That's enough. My mother stood up suddenly. I won't sit here and listen. Yes, you will, I cut her off. For once in your life, you're going to listen to me instead of trying to control me. She sank back down, her perfect posture finally cracking. I didn't destroy our family, I continued. I exposed what was already broken. And now? I gestured to the courtroom, to the reporters sketching quietly in the back, to Lisa and Valeria sitting supportively behind me. Now, I'm building something real. The judge took only 20 minutes to return her verdict. Not guilty. All charges dismissed. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. Jasmine, how does it feel to win? This was never about winning, I replied. It was about truth. And your new design firm? Another called out. The one working with domestic violence survivors? Every client deserves a safe space. I smiled, thinking of the women like Valeria who'd started coming to me for help. Sometimes that means redesigning more than just their homes. My mother pushed through the crowd. Jasmine, please. We can still fix this. The country club board might reinstate us if— Mum, I stopped her. Let it go. The perfect family you wanted? It never existed. But a real relationship might, if you're ever ready to try. I left her there on the courthouse steps, joining Lisa and Valeria, who waited by a taxi. Ready? Lisa asked. Almost. I turned back to the reporters. One last thing. To anyone trapped in a gilded cage of other people's expectations, the door is always unlocked. You just have to be brave enough to open it. The taxi took us to my new office, a converted industrial space where I helped women rebuild their lives through environmental design. Emerson was waiting inside. "Your 3 o'clock is here," she said, now my legitimate assistant. "She left her ex last week. Needs a fresh start." "Don't we all?" Valeria smiled, heading to her own office where she counseled domestic violence survivors. Lisa checked her phone. "Terrence's sentencing is tomorrow. Want me to go with you?" "No," I decided. "I don't need to see it. I'm done looking backward." My client arrived, a woman with familiar shadows in her eyes, but hope in her smile. "I'm ready for change," she said. "Then you're in the right place," I replied, leading her to my design table. "Let's build something beautiful." Because that's what I learned from burning down my perfect life. Sometimes the most beautiful things rise from ashes. You just have to be willing to strike the match. And I'd never been afraid of fire.